What's Your Story podcast is featuring Mark Kerr and his wife, Franci Kerr, to talk about a life that is almost impossible to believe unless you've lived it and spent some time around Mark and Franci. Mark is a UFC Hall of Famer. He's one of the most dominant fighters the sport has ever seen. But behind all the victories was a man fighting battles far more personal than anything that happened in the ring. His story is raw, emotional, honest, and it's finally being told on the big screen. And the new film is called The Smashing Machine. It's out now. It starred The Rock as Mark Kerr. And Mark just told me earlier that The Rock's been nominated for a Golden Globe, which is pretty exciting for everybody involved with the project. So that alone tells you how powerful the story is. It also stars Emily Blunt. In this conversation, Mark and Franci open up about the rise, the fall, the redemption, and what it feels like to watch your life become a major Hollywood film. So this one moved me. I know Mike was super excited. It's a super powerful story, really good people, down to earth. I think it's going to move you too, and we hope you enjoy it. So enjoy this week's episode on the What's Your Story podcast, and subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify and YouTube, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok for all things What's Your Story. Mark Kerr and wife Franci Kerr coming at you this week.
Mike Lindstrom, What's Your Story podcast with my man, Scott Leese. I am so pumped about this episode. I mean, I've so been pumped about this for a couple, and this, by the way, a couple months coming.
Yes.
We were going to do this the last time we were in town and just scheduling, because there's a good reason why scheduling was a little nuts last time. So I won't let this on too further. Kerr and his lovely wife, Franci Kerr, and she's been a longtime friend of mine. In fact, I would not know Mark Kerr but for Franci and the relationship I have with Patrick, our friend, who's basically the producer of this studio, Nectar Flow. So shout out to Patrick for introducing me to Franci, and Franci introducing us to Mark, and now you know. So we're all bringing this together. So without further ado, Franci, Mark, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
So, yeah, we start off every single episode. You can see this. Yeah. There's the prep. What's your story? So we're going to go ladies first. What is your story before we get to this gentleman?
Quick version. I grew up in St. Louis. I came out here over 20 years ago. My best girlfriend was chasing her husband. I was living in Springfield. I thought, why not? Never been to Arizona. I walk in and meet this guy in LA Fitness, but that's... Tell LA.
We'll get there.
Basically, I'd always been into fitness and just started selling fitness equipment to commercial buildings. I did that for a long time, and then eventually was trying to get scaled back and had to go out on my own. Started Absoulute Wellness, and then brought Mark into my business, and now
we're here.
From sales to entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have you guys. We always, at the end of every show, we always have people brag on what they're working on. So we're going to get to that for sure. All right. So what's your version of what's your story, my man?
So that's like one of those, where do I start? Oh, I moved out here 30 years ago to train for the 1996 Olympics. And I grew up back east, went to Syracuse University, and I came out here and was going to train for the 96 Olympics, trained for the 96 Olympics, didn't make the Olympic team, and then became a professional mixed martial artist. And I think that's where you say, like, the rest of it's history.
To talk about growing up in Western New York a little bit. My family is from Niagara Falls, Buffalo.
My gosh.
I'm a huge Bills fan. So I know you went to Syracuse. And as soon as you said Syracuse, I sparked up a little bit. Fun fact about Syracuse. I think it still is this way. It has the least number of sunny days per year of anywhere in the States. How did growing up in Western New York impact?
You know what? It made me appreciate Arizona.
I bet. Went to the opposite.
That's for sure. It's one of those. I was actually at Syracuse when the Bills went to 4 straight.
Remember?
So I have.
Don't laugh at me, Mike. I remember very fondly.
I have a good friend, Ethan Bosch, that's from huge Buffalo Bills fan, and every year it was a different outfit he wore. This is the outfit that's like a onesie Bills outfit. Yes. The onesie, and it was like everyone consoled him after. I still console him. I still console him, but it's just interesting times. Moving out here was one of those. I could see the opportunity here, and I could see, even though I'm a distance from my family, I still needed to take advantage of the opportunities that were here. And it's what brought me out to train for the Olympics and what kept me out here.
Yeah. So tell us this quick story back to your story about coming out here. You had a friend that was chasing someone. Like, did that really happen? That was the real reason you came to Arizona. Tell us a little about this.
So I went to school in Springfield, Missouri, University of Missouri, and she had met her boyfriend there, and he was moving out here to finish his school at ASU. She's like, do you want to move to Arizona? I had never been to Arizona. I'm living in Springfield, Missouri. She's like, I'm marrying him. And she moved out here. We took a U-Haul and here, so just came out here, no plans, really wasn't sure what to expect. But again, I was young, I was like 18 years old.
Yeah. Do you ever want to go back?
I love St. Louis. I love the Midwest, but no, Arizona is.
I had to ask. I have a lot of friends from St. Louis, and they are so pumped about their city. They would go to watch you. They're everything St. Louis.
I love St. Louis.
Yeah.
We have a strong partnership there. My family's there. My nieces and nephews are there. I'd like to maybe have a house there one day. My parents have a beautiful home. It's in trees. It's like a tree house and the green and you miss the season. So you'd be a second home there, but Arizona's.
All right. So we got to get to what's your story for the two of you. So let's start with your version. But when you met this guy, let's hear your version first. How you met this guy, truthfully, what happened? Let's get the version out of you first, and then we'll get to you next.
So my girlfriend and her boyfriend, they ended up, but I was the third wheel. And so I was like, I got to go make my own friends. So I went to LA Fitness. I met him and his training partner, Rico, and they were filming the Smashing Machine, the original documentary that the movie is about. I met a new girlfriend, Debbie, who was obsessed with him and was just like, Mark Kerr. So I just, heard about Mark Kerr for 3 years straight. He was with Dawn. She was just obsessed with Mark because he was hot and he was in hot pants. He was the hottest fighter in the world.
I've seen those shorts, bro. Those are tight.
Yeah, the hot pants did it.
What year was this?
99.
Yeah. They were actually filming.
You guys so long.
Yeah.
So we've crossed paths though for years. We've crossed paths. It just never the right path at the right time. And so finally 7 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, you were going through your struggles and I had my own, personal, we all would go through.
Yeah.
And we've crossed paths several times. And then Rico, like I said, I was closer with Rico back in the day.
So they have no idea who Rico is.
Okay. Rico Rodriguez, he was born.
You don't have to explain him.
Who was he?
He was also.
He was my training.
Oh, training. Okay, got it.
Also a UFC fighter. He had called me about 6 or 7 years ago and was like, you and Mark should start working out, And I've, fitness, I've always been into fitness. So she
calls me and says, hey, come train with me and my trainer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
we got this film thing coming up.
Yeah.
And so probably we want to be in shape. And I'm like, okay. Not understanding that I was 300 pounds, just
300 pounds.
Yeah.
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 And so I just wasn't physically, I just was in a bad spot physically.
Yeah.
And so
and you were single. You hadn't been dating. And so, we started working out.
I mean, it's good.
Very well.
Like, you want to go to dinner after our workouts? And he was just so sweet and just he didn't play any games. He's like, I like you. Like,
what you doing after you work out?
You were seventh grade all over again?
Passing the notes.
Yeah.
Man, I swear, it's just so funny how you can look back and go, oh my God, I had no game at all. It was just, hey, you want to go eat? I'm hungry.
it was refreshing. It was so sweet. And he's adorable. He was sweet and, great stories. And
do you remember the actual day when she walked into Play Fitness and first time?
Gosh, man, I can remember. I remember the conversations I had with her, and then I remember hanging out with her and her roommate Debbie, and I looked at them like because they were kid sisters, just like you couldn't date or go out with Debbie because she just reminded me of my kid sister.
Yeah, she was in the friend zone.
Totally in it. So it's just one of those where our paths weren't meant to be where they are until they're meant to be where they are.
Yeah.
And so it's taken us
6 or 7 years, 6 years.
It's been 4 years.
What's that been 4 years?
How long's it been? A couple of years, right? It's well.
3. So it's coming up on 3 years.
Okay. So this is kind of a special time of the year. So I've done my homework on you. So congratulations on another year, my man. September
Thank
4th.
you. Thank
Sober
you.
birthday.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great story. We'll wait for that in a minute. Your birthday
Yeah.
and anniversary.
Yeah.
All here.
Yeah. All here. Yeah.
So and when you guys met, if I'm doing my math correctly, you're -7 because your 7th year. You're in a spot of your life right then when you guys met. So how did that affect your guys' relationship? If you were you sober at the exact moment you met, or were you about to
So
be?
I'd been sober a
Years.
little. No, I had let's see, would have been
2 years.
somewhere around there.
Okay.
And it was one where, believe me, when you for my first year, it took me that first year for me to figure a lot of stuff, like in my head, like, oh my gosh, wow. Like it wasn't a soft landing. It was like, dude, hey, look where you are. It's that brutal honesty you need, right? Mm-hmm. And in that first year, I was terrified. I was terrified of everything, everybody. I was just so shell shocked that I had let my life get to that capacity. And then the second year, it was just, okay, I'm just going to build one little step at a time. You know, I just need to make one incremental improvement per day. And then I can build off it. And then when you look back on it, you go, that compounded itself. At the end of the year, I'm much better. So she came in my life just at a pivotal point where, you know, I needed her influence, because the first thing I wrote, I'm going to start crying if I say it, but the first thing I wrote was, you make me want to be better.
Start making me cry in this chair.
It's a lot to take on for you as a partner, knowingly walking into situation.
It was a lot, but he also, I don't know how vulnerable I want to get, but I mean, I was always very productive, always worked out every day, top producer, but I also was drinking too much and it was affecting my life as well. So I helped him, but he helped me too. And I quit drinking 4 years ago, and both of our lives, you know, we've helped each other.
Yeah.
We've helped each other.
Timing is everything. That's so true. My wife and I met in law school. We were just friends. Literally, she had a boyfriend. I was a super single guy, whatever that means.
Yeah. She's very good at describing it.
We had 3 or 4 stints over a 4-year period, and I just wasn't mature. I was an idiot. I was doing stuff that I'm not proud, not illegal, but just, and it wasn't my best version of myself.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for another best version of something. So eventually we got married. Now we're married 20 years and have 2 kids. And I tell that to people all the time. You never know when that time is right. But the fact that you guys ended this in a great story, and I didn't know it's been that long. I did not know you guys have known each other that long.
He
Yeah.
was the first person I met when
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
It's just how, you know, like her and I talk about like manifesting stuff, like really honestly, like looking at, you know, my life and understanding, like there's points where I just gave up. I didn't even have a dream, right? But there's points where I'm so hyper focused on achieving stuff. It's like my friend, I'm good friends with a guy named Jay Glazer, right? And Jay will tell me, he'll tell me point blank, he goes, you forgot who you are, bro. Like, I need to remind you of who you are. I'm like, oh shit.
And she does that for you.
She does it.
Wow.
Talk about manifesting. If you bring it forward to kind of everything going on in your lives,
Yeah.
most recently, I saw you talk the other day. Somebody asked you, what's kind of like, how do you describe all this chaos and all these famous people that you're meeting, all this stuff?
Yeah.
And you sort of laughed and said, I still don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to articulate it, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
And my question now would be, are you getting better at articulating it, or do the words still just elude you a little bit?
Oh man. Yeah, they still elude me for the fact it's hard to describe to somebody the indescribable. Right? Like I was telling you earlier about, like, you know, private tour St. Marco's Basilica.
Right.
Right.
That doesn't happen
Like,
to
it
anyone.
It
Image in mind, right?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But when you have Emily Blunt, Dwayne Johnson, Benny Safdie, my wife, myself, and just that small, intimate person on person it's just this, like, how do I translate that to somebody else? Because it's these moments that are like really precious, You know, like I've said to my wife, she understands like my whole evolution is connection, like connection to people. And when Emily's not in front of a camera, you can connect to her. And when Dwayne is, you can connect to him. And it's these precious connections with these people that have just, those are the things I treasure. Taking everything away from this whole experience is, I got a real opportunity to know somebody that very few people get an opportunity to know on that personal level.
Yeah. How do you handle all this? Because this is not, I think about you often when I see your guys' posts, because when you're in the spotlight like you are, Mark, everyone's like, oh, no, yeah, you get out of the picture.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it happens. And it sucks. It sucks. But how do you handle that? Because it's not about you anymore, right? It's about us. It's a teamwork. That's who you are in your lives. But you're in this last couple months promoting something, which is his product. Not your product, but it is your product.
Yeah.
Because you're a family, right? How do you handle that?
Well, I'm an introvert by nature anyway, so I'm not necessarily like super camera, like, so that part, I'm okay with, like, let him go. But I don't know. I'm happy to see,
There's moments I didn't handle it very well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like in what way?
Just to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes hard.
It like in retrospect, I can look back and go, oh, I fumbled that one. That's like, realistically, it should have been a priority for me to make sure she's okay. Yep. And there's moments where I'm so consumed with what I have to do and what I like the PR team would go like, okay, here's the points. Here's what you're going to talk about. Here's this is it. And I'm like, okay. And then you get in front of a bunch of reporters and you have to distill that and so like on the back burner was like, hey, is my wife okay? Yeah. It's an afterthought. And unfortunately through the process, I try to get better at it. And sometimes I got worse at it. Yeah. And then
that's just kind of all a whirlwind too. It's hard to like all of it. Like even Venice and Toronto and LA, it's all just like
sustainable.
You're enjoying it in moments and pockets, I'm sure. Is there also a part of you that's sort of looking forward to just exhale?
You're getting that now, I hope, right?
Pound it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it right now is like I looked at it like this, like when I was competing, I would do a 12-week or 14-week training camp, right? Have the fight. And then afterward, there was this blank spot. Sometimes that blank spot was dangerous because I filled it with a bunch of
stuff you shouldn't have been doing.
Oh my God, a bunch of really bad stuff. Because I was looking for that next dopamine hit, right? I was looking for it, looking for it. So then figuring out like where I am now going, okay, I'm aware of it now. So I can go, okay, I'm not going to engage in that behavior. There's this decompression, but there's this sense of urgency behind me of like, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing something. Like and it's like, hang on a second. Let me just enjoy this for a minute, right? Because even at the championships I won and stuff like that, there's moments that were second I won it, I'd sit in the locker room, I'd have 15, 20 minutes of just peace and then got it. What's next? Next thing and it was this relentless drive. And it just was one where, like I've talked to Fran about it, it's like, understanding that there's a sense of urgency, but also there's a sense of the ability to enjoy, Howie Long.
Yeah.
Howie Long, actually, this was brilliant. So I was with Jay, and Howie's like, hey, so Jay puts me on the phone with Howie, and Howie goes, let me just tell you. And then he describes his whole experience going through his Hall of Fame and everything, and him trying to scramble for tickets and get this for his family, make sure these people, and he goes, don't do it. He goes, don't do it. He goes, enjoy the moment. Be where your feet are.
Be where your feet.
That's my advice. Right before all this hit, right before all this hit, and it was literally him. Actually, it was right after the Hall of Fame thing.
The movie had not come out yet. Wow,
correct.
That's good advice, man.
Oh my gosh,
for all of us,
advice, because it's one of those moments where it's like, because I'm either thinking about what I didn't do or what I need to do instead of being where I am.
Instead of being present.
Yeah.
That's what he asked of me. This whole thing. He's like, just try to be with me, be present. Yeah.
What I wanted from, I said, just please be present with me, please. Because it just allows her to enjoy it with me.
Yeah. No, go back to the story on the timeline. So when you guys met, the documentary, the original documentary, the producer you knew from Syracuse, correct? So that was part of the connection of him feeling comfortable to be able to come to you, hey man, I got this thing. And you're probably thinking, oh yeah, he's going to come in with some little Sammy camcorder.
Oh my gosh, terrible.
And he comes in with something like this.
He does.
And you're like, holy shit, this guy really wants to do a movie.
Yeah.
So then it comes out 2002?
It comes out 2002 or 2003.
You saw it when it came out? Did you know?
Till a few, I mean, I didn't know MMA or UFC. I just saw him and Rico in the hot pants and you driving this red car, sports car. Yeah. I watched it a few years afterwards. I thought it was incredible. I went home and showed my family.
Did you watch it and think to yourself, could you recognize your man and your friend and your husband, or did you watch it and think, who the hell is this person? That does not seem like a person. No.
It's Mark. It's definitely Mark. It's Mark. And then I've known him, throughout the years after that.
What's crazy is that we would schedule lunch and she would go, oh, something came up, and we'd schedule lunch. Oh, something came. So we've literally, when I mean we've crossed paths, I mean we've crossed paths where her and I have sat down and had lunch, and she's gone off and done this, and I've done this and that, and the universe wasn't ready for us yet.
When you had to get other buy-in from some of your buddies that you fought with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To be in that movie. Who else?
So Boss Rutan was in it.
Yep.
And Ryan Bader.
Yep.
Another local guy, right? And Usyk.
Yep.
Alexander Usyk. Gosh, man, who's the other one?
You have to sign off or something?
Are you talking about the movie?
Yeah. No. I'm talking about the 2002 when you did that. Yeah, that. Yeah, no, I'm saying, in 2002, you had to get your guys bought in to do that one in 2002.
100%.
And also in the new one, of course, but I'm going back. That stuff hadn't been done yet.
No.
So who did you really have to talk to and say, hey guys, we're going to do this. My guy's going to come in here.
So this is what's crazy. No, so again, you're right. I expected a Best Buy handheld camcorder. That's what I expected. A little flip screen, even a little eyepiece, like literally that's what I expected. And they showed up with these Sony digital $20,000 cameras, boom mic, crew of 7 people. It was like, oh shit, you intend to make a documentary. So along the way, the releases that had to be dropped was Rico Rodriguez, Boss Rutan, and then everybody in between. What's crazy about the whole thing, originally when the documentary crew showed up, they showed up in Japan. I got them all ringside media credentials for my fight where I had a no contest against Igor Volchanchin, right? And they never got a release from the Japanese.
Really?
So I had to go back a year and a half later and get a release for them to use the footage. Everything they had shot to that point, they couldn't have used.
They just didn't think about it as just an oversight?
Wow. That's crazy. So when I watched that documentary, I knew who you were. I wasn't a big UFC fan at the time, but I love documentaries. That's what I do on the weekends. I watch anything about people. I love bios. And I watched it. I cried, man. I cried. And Coleman, dude, his stuff. The true story, I could probably prove it to you. Not that you wouldn't believe me. I reached out to him on some form of social media the night I watched it.
Wow.
On a direct message. And I said, I just watched this documentary and I was so moved by it. I don't know where you live, huh? Yeah, I don't know where you live, but I would love to meet you one day. I don't know if you ever do interviews or I was always about modeling people. Sit down with somebody one-on-one over a coffee and pick their brains because I use it in coaching. Yeah. I say, hey, I just met this guy Coleman. I know you don't know who he is, but let me tell you how he overcame this. Let me tell you what he believes. And I share it with clients. So that's what I do. I've done that since my Tony Robbins days. Yeah. And I remember he reached back to me. I wish I could find it. He reached back and he goes, what's this for? what's it about? And I'm like, and I'm DMing him. I'm like, this is what I do. I gave him my website. I said, I'm not trying to get anything. I said, I was literally moved by your movie.
Wow.
And so it made an impact on me when I watched the original documentary.
Yeah.
So when you sat me down over lunch and said, you're not going to believe this. Like, we're going to be, I'm like, oh, come on. Movies can take years to make. And she's like, no, this is for real. Mike, Dwayne Johnson and him are close. And he told him, you got to trust in me. I want to hear the story. I don't know how that happened, but this was like before COVID.
Yeah.
And then what happened? I mean,
So, oh God. So this is what's crazy. So I haven't been sober even a year. It's coming up on my 1 year anniversary of being sober. So it's 2019. It's July. And I get a message from William Morris Agency.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Agents. Yeah.
And it's this guy named Brad Schlater, who's been Dwayne's agent since like 2013. And he says, he leaves a message, and I'm like, I think it's literally somebody ripping me. Yeah. So I like look the phone number up. I'm like, look the guy up. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just call in, and I'm like, I get his assistant. His assistant's like, yeah, he'll call you back. And so I get a call back, and he just starts like probing. I'm like, do you know who owns your life rights? And I'm like, no. Do you know who owns the movie?
You're like, I think I do.
Yeah, but what I didn't find out,
You got a lot of good side stories.
is that like air rights in New York City, right? Like life rights they're called container rights, and they're worth 10 times more than a movie script is. I didn't understand that's what I sold.
So John Claude Van Damme or something, right?
That's
He's got all these side stories that are involved, but
damn guy that produced all his movies actually bought my container rights. And so I pointed Brad in the direction that I think that's crazy. An retired Israeli tank commander named Musha Hadim owned my rights.
wow.
Some 78-year-old dude in Los Angeles. I'm just telling you, it can't get stranger. So it turns out Brad's like, okay, he leaves me a message. Hey, we found out who has him. We're negotiating. So I'm figuring like maybe 3 months, 4 months. I don't even know how long it would take. And so he calls me back like in 4 weeks. He's like, we have your rights secured. I'm like, secured, like, so $7 production, Dwayne's production company, bought the rights. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, and then he goes, Dwayne's going to give you a call. I'm like, okay. And so Dwayne like gives me a call. He's like, hey, I'm going to make the announcement. The movie's being made. Madison Square Garden, 2019, right? BMF belt that he has, bad motherfucking belt, right? And he goes, I'm going to make the announcement Madison Square Garden, and then I'm going to make this movie Smash Machine. I'm like, okay. Like,
I'm still dizzy headed at that point. Like,
it's still like,
what's happening?
it still hasn't reached any level of reality for me. Right. And makes the announcement, and COVID.
Then the writer's strike.
Writer's strike.
Right after that. Oh, wow.
And so it was just like, this is my story. I'm going to tell. So I tell people, I go, my wife asked me through that time period, you should call Dwayne. I've had a cell phone number, right, since 2019. I didn't call it one time in 4 years. I didn't.
So you prompted him.
You didn't check in.
Well, not checking in, nothing. Cause I go, what am I going to affect? Am I going to get the movie made sooner? Cause I called him. He'll reach out, or his people reach out when it's going to get made. It could be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or never. And I said, I have to try to just do what I need to do in my life, regardless of this. And it was one of the harder decisions, because she had asked me whether she wants to admit it or not. She would ask me, she goes, you ought to
Oh yeah, I'm with you, girlfriend. I'm on your camp. How do you go 4 years?
yeah.
So this is what the crazy again about the universe and about manifesting, about how it is. So it's the fall of 2023, October, and she had said, yeah, you need to reach out. And I'm like, I go, you know what? I'm going to call Brad's office. So I call William Morris, and this is no shit. Brad goes, your ears must have been ringing. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay. And he goes, I can't tell you. It's Thursday. It's a Thursday. And he goes, I can't tell you. You need to talk to Dwayne. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, Dwayne, we'll call you over the weekend. So it's Thursday. Dwayne texts me the next day. Hey, I'll call you over the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no call. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I get another text. So now it's like 9 days.
Who's counting?
So it's like Saturday, no call. I'm like,
You're like, I can't focus on anything else right now.
I'm just
Admit it.
Yeah,
But
is my phone charged?
Yeah.
Is the thing working? You know, like type of thing. And so finally, it's Sunday afternoon, and he calls me. He goes, "You available?" I'm like, "Yeah." We get on the phone. We talk for an hour on the phone, and he goes, "Yeah, we're going forward with this. It's green lit. You know, A24 Studio. They're the ones doing it. Benny Safdie's directing. I got Emily on board. All this other stuff. Not understanding that when he said this thing's moving forward, that behind him, his production company, A24, that there's hundreds of people that are working on this and have been working on it for the last couple months.
unbeknownst to you, really. Yeah.
And he goes, when he says this, he goes, I'm going to make the announcement to the world tomorrow. And I'm
Monday.
Monday.
Can I sleep on it?
Like, are you sure you want to do, like, because it's one of those things where it's like and it sticks in my brain, because it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to make the announcement, and he paused for emphasis, to the world. I'm like, okay. And then from there, it just went.
Where were you in this moment? Were you next to him?
I was too nervous.
She leaves the house when I go, hey, Dwayne's calling me. She goes, I'm leaving.
I'm going to the gym.
I'm going to the gym.
That's exactly what I did.
Literally took off, and it's just like, okay, I guess I got the house to myself, you know, but this what I go through. She's more nervous than I was, you know.
Yeah, it was.
And then it happened that's so fast in the TV world. I mean, movie world, that's amazingly fast. Lightning speed. Well, you have Dwayne Johnson in your corner.
You know, he had said just like, you know, like, I can get stuff done. Like, that's a big understatement, right?
Oh, yeah.
In understanding, like, when he sets his team on something, it gets done. I mean, it just literally gets done. And it's one of those where it's like everything assembled. Because I always look at it like this. Not only the experience of going through it, and everybody else had to make time for it too. So Benny Safdie had to be available. Emily Blunt had to be available, right? They had the cinematographer named, oh my God, the book. Yours is right. Yours is right.
Universe, man.
It is, because,
Right?
like, because you don't find, like, Dwayne, Emily, Benny, and all the other cast, they can't find 12 continual weeks of time in that short. Literally, it's writer strike ends, and then everything just kicks in. It's like, wow. So a lot of it's this manifestation of, like, I just still can't believe it.
When was the first time that you were on set, when you got invited in to see what was going on?
So they had me up. When was April?
I don't remember.
April 2024.
Were you together?
They had me. They had just me come up, and it was, so this is what's crazy. This is what is absolutely crazy about it. So I had started sending them stuff. Like, I was rummaging through boxes and, you know, photos and screen grabs and magazines and
Clippings and
everything,
whatever you could find.
Everything that I could find. I sent box after box after box. When I got up to Vancouver, which was in April, right before the shooting schedule started, they're still in pre-production. I walked into my life from 25 years ago. It was like walking in a room, and it was like all these screen grabs from the documentary, all this stuff I had sent them, all my clothes, exactly.
All the stuff you sent him was on set.
On set, they replicated. Like, you'd walk in a room, so the producer, Dave Copeland, was walking behind me the whole entire day going, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Let's take a break. Let's take a break. Because we'd go into a room and it would be like all the furniture that I had in those rooms, like the 4 rooms that we created, like my living room and in my kitchen, in my office, and it would be like all the clothes that I wore, my jewelry, the little ring I wore, the exact replica of my watch, the shoes
Wait, so let me make sure that people understand this. This is a house, not a set.
This is.
So that's full blown. We're all in on this.
To still think about it's mind boggling. You had just so many things that I couldn't even digest. I couldn't even emotionally digest because it was just like so overwhelming. I mean,
It's got to trigger so much.
Much
stuff.
So much.
Yeah.
So many things that it like the first time I ever watched the first cut of the movie in January of this year, actually. It was like getting absolutely just rode over by an emotional dump truck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those where literally it's just, and the other impact was like in Venice, because I had watched the first cut of it and they had changed a bunch of stuff. And so when I watched it in Venice for the first time, so it's like me, Benny Safdie, Dwayne Johnson, and Emily, and then Fran's right behind me. And I watch it for the first time, like in its cinematic version. And oh my gosh, it was intense.
What was that like for you?
Emotional. The first time I couldn't even really see what was going on. It was just like the fights and him with Dawn and just all of it. It was just a lot.
How much of that did you know? I mean, you knew about his previous life, obviously, family and all that stuff. How did that impact you watching that, watching your man with somebody that's, in this movie that's being portrayed as? What was that like?
It's so wild. I don't even know if I can put it into words. And then watching DJ, and he really it's weird. He really looked like Mark, especially in the end with a lot of the scenes. It was.
I saw that too.
Yeah, it was really. Yeah. It was surreal. And then we went to Toronto, so I saw it again. And the second time, I could really sit back and watch it and enjoy it.
Experience.
I've seen it 4 times now, 5 times.
She actually went, when we got back home from all this, she actually went to movie theater and saw it by herself.
You really?
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
It's gotta be, I think how to phrase this. You've got to feel so almost naked and vulnerable. It's like all of these parts of you in your life, which in your case, what's being shared is like some of the lowest, worst of your whole entire life. And, some people close to you knew all this kind of thing, maybe. A lot of people probably didn't know most of it, even those closest to you. But now all of a sudden, all of that is out there. And so now, both of you could go walk through the airport, find yourself having people look at you, and do you ever think to yourself, oh man, these people are fucking, they've seen the worst parts of me or whatever? Like, I have that insecurity, so I'd be thinking to myself, all these people know the worst parts of me. I swear I'm not only that.
Yeah.
Is that strange? Is that part of the feeling? Like I'm just completely open, completely vulnerable. Everything about me is out there now.
Part of what I've come to literally understand about this whole process is that my hope through the whole entire thing is that if I'm able to do that, right, if I'm able to be that wide open about all this different stuff, it literally is it's a segue for other people to open up
Completely. Yeah.
And that's the part about it. Like the original documentary, when it aired at HBO Studios right outside of Times Square in New York City. And at the top of their headquarters, they have 2 movie theaters. And so the documentary aired, and I had hoped it would have an impact, but this is why I'm bringing this up, because after the movie aired and I'm in the lobby and we're talking, there was a woman who was probably in her mid to late 60s, came over to me and started talking to me about the documentary. And she paused and she said, my grandson, he struggles with drinking. And, and then she goes into the story about it. had she never seen the documentary, it would never gave her any connection to me.
He gets all kinds of messages, like
Very personal, very, very, very impactful, you know, like to a capacity of like, you know, when the documentary originally came out, there's no social media. There's no YouTube.
That thing would be on steroids now.
Yeah, distribution back then was a lot
Oh,
different.
amazing.
Well,
No.
HBO back then was God, right? Like if you're a comedian and you had a special on HBO, you made it. You made it. Like that would get you a headline marquee anywhere in the United States, right? So for the documentary to be validated by HBO, and then for it to literally, it reached audiences that would have never, ever, ever seen anything like it. And, you know, I really believe back then, there's a parable of like, you know, if that, like that experience that I went through, somebody else could watch it and it could save their life, then I've lived a worthy life, right?
Yeah. That's when your truth and your story has a power and an impact beyond just the telling of it or any kind of like commercial reason or anything like that. Like this art has been made from your story that is impacting millions of people. And, you know, you have God knows how many messages people are sending you and tell their stories.
Well, we were just in
hard to quantify that.
It is. Cause I mean, it's to the point where, you know, at the beginning, cause it was literally when I watched the documentary for the first time. So they filmed the documentary over about 18 months and the filmmakers didn't let me see 1 second of footage.
Wow.
So I didn't get a chance to see a second of footage till 3 years later. So the first time I ever saw it was in Dolby Sound Studio in California. And the filmmakers are watching me watch the film.
They're not even
watching. Yeah. I'm glued, like watching it, and lights come up and I stand up. I pop up. And John Greenhall, who's was my teammate at Syracuse, so he literally goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back with you." And I literally just bolt out of the theater and get my truck and I just drive. And he's calling me and like, just, "Hey, you gonna be okay?" I'm like, I don't know, dude. I just don't know, man. You're gonna have to just give me a little bit of space on this, because I had final veto over it. Like if I didn't want,
that's rare.
Oh,
it's the only way I would sign a release.
Good for you. Good for you.
It's the only way I'd sign a release at the end of the day, right? And so, I sat there and I literally go, oh, and it came to this conclusion, like if this could help one person, because back then what kept me hostage was shame.
yeah, sure.
Like it was almost a relief when I told John what I was doing.
There's a scene where you let him in. I think, if I remember, I haven't seen it in a bit, but there was one scene that I remember watching it as a viewer. I'm like, holy, this is happening. Like he's going in that room and he's showing what he's doing in that room.
It was a relief.
So what was going on behind the camera though? When I saw what I saw on the camera,
but
what was going on behind the camera in that moment?
So they put the cameras down and they just said, hey, like John pulled me aside and said, like, hey, what's going on, man?
Because you were behind a closed door.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it just was one of those where it's like, in telling that, it was just such a relief. Like I didn't have to carry the shame and guilt that I was addicted to opiates, and that this is what was going on behind everything. This was why the behavior was this, why this was this, why. And so it was this relief. And then it was like, okay, how do we get help? How do we figure this thing out? You know?
And he was loving on you. He was loving on you. So I've always believed in communication. I teach this, is that all communication, I don't use those big words like all communication is one of two things: cry for help or loving response, period. So you agreeing to do that movie at the time was a cry for help.
Cry for help.
And you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Until that scene came up where he's like, buddy, what are you doing back there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's powerful.
So
Release.
it is. It's
Wow.
it's that shame, that thing that keeps you hostage, right? Like, what if it's like I call, yeah, you've heard of this imposter syndrome, right?
Mhm.
Like, oh my God, wait if they figure out what I really am. Like, and I joke with my wife, I go, sometimes I have to remind myself I'm in 5 Hall of Fames.
That's good. That's good self-talk. That's really good self-talk. That's talking about a reframe. That's a great reframe.
Fairly powerful reframe.
I don't know how many people can say that, by the way, on the planet.
I don't know. I'm still trying to get in my university's athletic hall of fame. I'm still trying to go for number 1.
He wants though.
Syracuse.
That's his. He got that one coined, man.
Yeah.
What was the?
Syracuse. We promote this.
So I got a funny story. So this happened the week after, or the weekend after the movie came out. So I took the boys, my sons, to go see it opening weekend, and I only told them a little bit. I want them to watch fresh. They're 17 and 14. They knew our friendships. That's all I told them. And I didn't do anything either. I didn't watch any trailers. I watched nothing. I wanted to go in completely cold. We sat there. It was on the Sunday. We watched it on Sunday, and I first cried, and I knew you. And yes, I saw the scene at the very end where I could see her walking. She walks through the back. So I was like, cameo, took a picture of her saying you got sticks. Guys gave it a score. We gave it high scores, emotional. We talked about it. Next day, Monday, one of my friends calls, hey, how's the movie? And he goes, hey, how'd it do in the box office? I go, and I got mad. I said, why does it matter?
Yeah.
I said, have you seen it? He goes, oh, I haven't seen it yet. And I said, first of all, I didn't know the numbers, didn't care. I said, you need to watch the movie first, and you need to go. Then you call me once you've seen the movie, and we'll talk about the movie and the impact it has on people.
Yeah.
I said, by the way, my friend, you, who did a movie played by the most famous person on the planet. So you're sitting here, I don't know where you're going with this line of questioning. And he goes, dude, relax. I just was curious how it did.
You got a bodyguard.
I know, I'm getting pissed off. No, but
Yeah.
my point to him was call me in a week, and he did. He called me the next week. He goes, by the way, I watched the film, and I see why you got so vehemently passionate, because you're right. I'm sure your buddy, and I didn't know this at the time, but just knowing you the way I do, I said, he did this movie not for the money. Okay. He's done a career. Dwayne's his buddy. He trusted in this, and he let the process happen to influence and promote the best in people and have other people be the best version of themselves by telling vulnerability, which I still believe to this day is the ultimate superpower. Ultimate superpower is vulnerability, and you gave it.
So she knows that's.
I get fired up, man.
So this is what, like I said earlier, connection, right? In order to connect, you have to be vulnerable. There's no other way around it. There isn't any other way you can connect, because we have these detectors built into us where we detect the that's in front of that. Like I go, she hates when I say this, but you want to piss me off? Be disingenuous. Be disingenuous with me and try to sell it as being real.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fair.
And I go, oh my gosh, it fires me up, because I'm going, if you can't be at least honest enough with me to talk to me, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because that's how important it is to me, because because I've chased stuff. There's nothing wrong with wanting stuff. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice house,
Titles,
things,
money, whatever. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. But if that's your sole goal, I think personally, and this is just me, this is my opinion, that it's a soulless venture.
I agree.
Unfortunately,
It consumes
most people,
everybody.
and unfortunately, most people don't come to that realization until they things that they think that they want.
Like I was saying, like post competition, right?
Yeah.
After in that hole, I've tried to scoop all the stuff in it. Like I'm going to go buy a car. I'm going to go buy a really fancy car.
Entrepreneurs after they retire, but even my mom, she's 75 and she was a nurse and she quit and she went back because you need purpose.
Yeah,
Purpose.
purpose
That's
is
big
the
time.
big
It
one.
is. Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple quick, easy ones, and we'll get to the big,
Yeah.
some deeper stuff, and then we'll talk about the brand that you're building. It's amazing. Your favorite part of the movie was?
Oh gosh. And his name was Mark Kerr. When it says that,
Yes.
the one line,
Yeah.
I
can see
started
that
bawling.
Oh, that's
Started
good,
bawling.
man. Hardest part to watch in the movie.
That last scene.
Yeah,
that last scene was just because I said when I watched that last scene, in Venice especially, it was like therapy. Because I I could clearly take absolute responsibility for my part. And like it was this experience where it was like, man, I was an asshole. I was just a dick, right? Because nobody else's agenda mattered. Because I had this one singular focus. You know, even though my aim was to try to raise everybody up around me, I had no patience if you weren't part of that. Mm. And it was so selfish because there's other ways to go about it. I just chose that way because that's the only way that I knew.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard on everybody around me. Really hard.
So would you give the same answer to your favorite scene and the hardest scene?
Come back to me on that one.
Yeah. That's tough.
You know, part of what, like, my experience is, I tried everything except the reality of like what I am when I drink alcohol or I change or alter my state. I'm not the best human being.
Yep.
And there's no off button. You know, like I can drive by a liquor store now and literally look at it and go, not enough. I just know you could lock me in there and I drink it all and go, you got any more?
Yeah.
It's how I'm built.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, you know, at the end of time when they finally figure it out, it's like, but I know that I don't have the answers.
Yeah. So his answer was, he answered so fast too. And he's only in his first year of sobriety. So he still said, I'm still trying to figure this thing out, but he answered that question the fastest. He goes, let me give you the best answer for surrender. Surrender is joining the winning team. Because you've been on the losing team
for a long time.
And that's your way of saying you've run out of choices and you went over to the winning team.
Yeah.
So your answers are very similar.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. So tell me about how spirituality comes into your guys' relationship. How do you guys manifest that with each other? Because I know you're a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
And I've come to know you, and I know that's part of, if you married her, then their spirituality is going to come into the marriage.
There is.
So I am Buddhist. And so when I started chanting and meditating, I've always been into spirituality and studying all of metaphysics and energy and all that. So we're very, very powerful. We all are very powerful and can create whatever we want with God, with the universe, whatever. So I think, how is it coming into a relationship? I think I've introduced you to a lot of new ideas.
What she did to me,
for me,
she broke me out of my dogma, like this narrow band of thinking that I had, that there's only one way to go
do something.
And it's amazing because I wasn't open to 90% of the.
So what happened? You weren't open, but now you are? What happened?
Open. You know, she'd go, hey, you want to chant with me? And I'd go like, yeah, I guess I will. You know, like literally. And so it started with chanting. Then it started with transcendental meditation. And it started with these little things that just whatever needed to get unlocked in me to understand that, like, I think we simplify it by calling it God, right? I think there's a greater consciousness, a greater understanding of like Joe Dispenza. He talks about the quantum.
Absolutely.
You know, like quantum. And he talks about this just bigger collective knowledge. And I think it just, you know, for me, I can understand it simply as God, because that just sums up something that is almost impossible to understand. And so she opened me up to the idea of being able to manifest stuff and to be able to really take part of me that had fallen asleep, you know, it's this spiritualness, you know, my soul, you know, and woken it up and said, you know,
people talk about that door opening is that it just opens all the way in one fell swoop and bang, I'm just open to it. Other people, it opens just a little crack at a time. And so if I'm making a snap judgment, I'm thinking maybe your door just opens just a little bit at a time, and you help him just a little bit more today and a little bit more tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I believe we all fluctuate. I mean, there is complete spiritual awakenings, and then there's Jesus, where you're, you know, like complete enlightened. But sorry, I don't get too. But
no, sure.
We all fluctuate. You've got to work to stay in a higher consciousness or higher vibration, and that's where like meditation. And it's not woo woo. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Phil Jackson, Ray Dalio. most powerful thing he said that's ever done has changed his life is Ray Dalio. That says the most number one thing.
If you're hired by Ray Dalio, you're doing transmental. It's part of his hiring package.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go through your training. Yeah.
Part of the deal.
Sit down.
So Tony
Right.
Robbins, I mean, all these. So I think we all fluctuate and we can default down to a lower state where we're angry and we're negative and we're depressed. But when you do these tools or exercises, right, chanting, meditation, working out, like do these things that can actually keep you up here, collectively can change the world, living in a better.
So, Mark, what do you love most about her?
Oh, gosh.
What are you going to say?
Her energy, her creativeness, and her innocence.
Wow.
You know, a lot of what makes her special is that she still has this innocence about her, you know, and this belief that everybody could be better.
Yeah.
Right. You know, where her world's not so jaded that you know, she's just in a good place where she believes everybody could be.
Franci, what do you love about him most?
His patience. They weren't bad. His patience. There's a lot of times I just get frustrated. I'm like, I'm out. Like he just like, no, we work on this. Like he wants to just sit down and work on things.
A slow poke.
Really?
He connects. Like he really loves people. He connects with people. Like he's a good person. He's like sincerely a good person. And
I think you're both extremely authentic from this experience, which I really appreciate, talking to a total stranger and that authenticity does cut through.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. We all laugh about our stuff now because when we first met, we just broed it up like in a minute. And Franci's like, what's going on? Do you guys know each other? I'm like, I've never met him. I just love him to death. I said, I called her immediately. I said, that I now see what you see. I feel what you feel. I see why you love this man. I mean, not to be bro crush, but I sat there in a public restaurant and I'm sitting there going, what is going on with me right now? Like, I really love this dude. Like, he's a good dude. Am I right?
great.
I mean, that's just the energy that you feel, and that's what you're talking about. And I had the same experience. Couple quick questions before we get to the business, and these are kind of rapid fire. Any teachings or readings, any books, things that are like your go-tos from your past? You're like, oh, this is the book that changed my life, or any teachings that?
Khalil Gibran.
What was that?
Khalil Gibran.
Okay.
Prophet.
Yep. Oh my gosh, second time we've heard that one.
Yeah.
We had two people say that one. What do you say?
Oh my goodness. I love Joe Dispenza's work. The Hermetic laws, which are Kabbalion, Egypt universal laws. I mean, I think those are incredible. President Ikeda.
President Ikeda of Nichiren Buddhist.
Yeah, he's a good man. Goodness, put me on the spot. Those are some of my favorites.
Quote or phrase that you live by?
Well, be where your feet are. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rip that one, Howie.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I've heard good things.
He lives right here.
I heard that. I was going to say, well, I've heard his name. People say, you got to get him on the podcast.
Here.
It's something. Yeah, I'm sure. That would be amazing.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I would want to be somewhere in the audience.
Hey, you and Jay. Jay is amazing. I met Jay one time in LA when we were doing some screenplay stuff about 2018. My buddy lived in the same area where he used to like socialize. It was down in the hills, down at the base of, I can't remember what street it was on. And he's like, do you know Jay? I'm like, I know who he is, but hey, bro, he's such a bro. Like, he comes in for the bro hug and all that. And I'm like, oh my God, he just is a normal guy. Yeah. This guy's on television. He's got his movement, mental health
thing. He's got a lot going on.
He's teaching young people, athletes, and he's made an impact. That guy has made an impact.
He has. And that's one of those, you talk about like out there. Cause he talks about like him and I talk consistently enough where, like he has great A's, you know, where it's just like as good as his life looks from the outside, sometimes on the inside, he's having a mind.
It fluctuates for everybody.
It does. But people don't always understand that fluctuations life.
Yeah.
They think it's supposed to be all cookies, cake, and candy, right? And it's like, you know, Jay, with where he is in position he's in, for him to talk about how dark it gets for him, depression wise, and how hard he has to fight to get to the other side of that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just been one where over the last 5 years, him and I have grown really close just through all this stuff that I've gone through. And like, he's just been like, again, I need to remind you who you are, dude. That's great.
What was your quote or phrase that you live by? You have a lot of them. I've seen some of your posts. You have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, turn poison into medicine.
That's a good one. That's a
Negative, there can benefit. There's always benefit in anything.
yeah.
Even the negative, you can bring something good out of it.
All right, so I got to get this. Absolute Wellness. What is this? You sat here and told me this almost a year ago. Yeah, absolutely. And we sat and talked about this after her and I met and talked about the business. And I do remember telling her, we met at the same place. It's one of the places I like to go to, RTO Sullivan's. And we sat there and I said, Franci, I don't know if you get this. Like, your world is about to change. Like, it's going to happen. I've only had a couple people in my life that were either athletes got drafted, so now they're at that level, or became movie stars, not at the level of Dwayne Johnson, not even close. I don't know who is. And as I said that, I said, just be thinking about how, in a branding perspective, you're never going to lose sight of who you are. Of course, I never worry about that with you guys, but it's true. Now I'm hearing it. It did. I mean, it's a whirlwind, all the stuff that you guys did, but now you're able to take, you have a platform. I mean, we use that a lot. When people build a platform and you're building upon that. So tell us about this and what you're doing and what we could do to help you with building that platform beyond with Absoulute.
Well, it just kind of progressed from what I've done most of my career. It's like Steve Jobs says, connect the dots looking backwards, so it's building fitness and wellness spaces for commercial buildings. We can do homes as well. So that was just kind of like the easy transition. But I think you need to see people win. Like, when I'm really down or when I'm having one of those gray days, it's like when I've seen somebody like that's down that came back, like that is what inspires me to keep going. Like, they could do it. They could do it. So I think using Mark's story and then just his whole comeback and recreating his life and getting sober and turning everything around, I think that could be like, everybody could have that comeback story or tell that story.
So she's broken it down into two components where it's build Absolute Wellness and it's live Absolute Wellness.
Love it.
And understanding, like, when you're living Absolute Wellness, well, what has to happen? And there are 5 pillars of wellness.
You even helped me with that when we used to do coaching. You have to work on all the different areas of your life.
And the way I always think of them is the things that support you. That's the way I was taught. You have your family, your friends, your faith, your financial future, your career. And you could also throw their spiritual or leisure into those things, how many pillars you might have. But if you don't have those pillars solidified in your mind, you're not being upheld, right? You have to have all of them intact. You can't, if you're leaving friendships out, okay, you're leaving your faith out, you're leaving your health out. They all have to pull with each other. You're good at that. You've always been good at balancing the pillars. And then when they're a balanced pillar, then the structure grows, which is what the platform you're building, obviously.
Yeah.
So the build is the environments, the products, the building, the tools, and that, and then the live Absolute, we're creating content and just tools, resources, products that can help fulfill with those millions. And
Well, I mean, to me, it's a natural for you to be in this.
Yeah.
Have a podcast of your own or creating content. I mean, you already have massive content because the last 90 days has forced you to.
Oh my God.
But imagine now that you can take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm going to create a new plan for 26. Is content for you to be able to look in that camera and
part of it. And so, like Fran and I talked about this, there's so many moving pieces going through this, and like thinking I'm going to pick every single one up and capitalize on it is ludicrous. It's just, you can't. So I have 4 strategic partners. I have a stem cell that's out of Panama called Origins that I'm working with to be. Well, I'm a brand ambassador. Ultra Human, which is a wearable tech that does everything. It's incredible what it does. And then I have a non-alcoholic drink that's a local. It's called Drink Grindstone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a guy named Dustin Johnson, and it's brewed here. It's actually, I take this back, because normally non-alcoholic drinks are, the alcohol is distilled back out of them. It's not that. It's a drink that tastes like a Hefeweizen. And it's called Drink Grindstone.
Wow.
And so they're non-alcoholic, and it's a really cool brand. Get Western is theirs. And then the last one is it's called Super Patch Company, and they're out of Toronto, and they have vibrational patches, and it's a technology that's just coming into better understanding, and it deals with a lot of different like I use like a patch for sleep, and a patch for energy, and a patch for, and you put them all over your body, and they're vibrational, and they turn on and off cells in your body, and it's really, so those are my 4 main partners going forward. And
That's the obvious.
the main one. Just one of those, again, it's one of those where it's like, there's other things too, because there's t-shirts. I have a t-shirt deal and a merchandising deal with the UFC. They just released a new EA.
Hard to keep track of it.
I mean, yeah, right.
That's great.
List.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it's just one where I told my wife that I go, I want to be involved in things that I want, that have resonance to me. Smash machine.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that on Instagram, actually. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's
Great. Yeah, it's a great partnership.
well, my wife going, we're gonna have Smash Machine Rex. Me going, okay.
The most important part.
So again, I mean, she's just brilliant with some of the stuff she comes up with, and then she can execute it. Which is amazing.
We have to have them on again. I mean, honestly, we're local. I mean, we do this every other month. We have guests come in, and we have talked about this. So having guests, we've already had our first rounds. I know you were busy during the show or the movie coming out, so we would have caught you in the last round. But Scott and I have talked about that, what resonates with the audience. I had no doubt, because I've already seen the feedback you're getting in social media, and stories, and the millions of people that you're touching their lives in so many ways because you were vulnerable. I would love to have you guys both come back at some point when your schedule permits, and tell us how Absolute's taken to the next level in all these brands. So
I'd love to.
I know. Thank you so much from the depths of my heart for taking the time. I know you're busy people, and it means a lot to Scott and I to have you come on.
No, it means a lot for us to support you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Because it's just one where again, it's just, it's like local.
Yeah. That's almost everybody we've had been pretty much local in Arizona.
The only person not local is me.
That's a good point. He's from Austin, Texas. We're gonna get him out here though. He's on his way.
It'd be hard to peel him away from Austin.
Yeah, Austin's keep it weird, baby. Keep it weird. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the episode. Franci, thank you so much for coming on. Mark Kerr, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mike Lindstrom signing off. Scott Leese, What's Your Story podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. Catch us the next time.